Welcome to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever seen a horse who could talk? With your host, Louisa Barton, who really wants to be a famous rider. She really loves to ride fast. Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care.
Truth is, I have horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Enjoy the show.
Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in Downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Thank you for joining us this week on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the CEP Equine Studios in Downtown Ocala, in the horse capital of the world, with a full studio of people, and Dancing Pete Roda from Complimentary Horsemanship, my co-host. How was your week?
Oh, week was a lot of fun. How about yours?
Very, very good indeed. Excellent. In fact, I've got some exciting things to share with you, but we have a great lineup today. We have Dr. Cayot from Peterson Smith after this segment, who's going to be chatting a little bit about taking care of older horses. Then we have one of my favorite people in the whole world who's visiting us. Don't look at me like that.
Me? I visit every week.
He does wear a cowboy hat, though.
Oh, okay. Now I know.
And that is Brad Bolen from Lip Chip, and he's going to be joining us for a little chat and a catch-up. He doesn't get to Ocala, Florida often enough, in my opinion, so since I'm a realtor for Engel and Volkers, I think I should make him buy a farm, so he...
He said he was going to build us a studio.
I know, right? At the farm. I like that idea.
That's a great idea. We could go outside and film playing with a horse or doing something with a horse.
Be phenomenal, wouldn't it? And then we have episode 2 of Heather and Jeremy Reynolds, the top endurance racers that we did a series at their farm with them. They have won the Tevis Cup multiple times and a number of other races across the world. And they are local residents here of the Dunellen area. We loved visiting their farm, so we have episode 2 with them. Then we are going to talk a little bit about the wonderful ribbon cutting ceremony that happened last week. And that was downtown Ocala on the square. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and share some photos from that wonderful experience. And then we're going to wrap it up with Pete's tip of the week, chat a bit more to Brad in that last segment. And then, of course, we'll have Neil from Ocala Dog Ranch and a hack to relax, because we need to relax more. But some news from around this way. Best of the 352. Some of our sponsors were nominated for this, so we're going to do a shout out for
Seminoles Feed,
Larson Hay,
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
That's right. TT Distributors, Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care,
Midnight Rose Equestrian,
Equine Performance Innovative Center, and for Health and Beauty, Nirvana Medical Spa,
and our favorite, Home and Garden,
Pat Myers Electric. And since we're on that topic,
the Spark of Ocala.
The Spark of Ocala. While we're on that topic, I got to do a shout out for Pat and Sarah Myers and their team, who actually were out at my farm yesterday and today, and they were installing some electricity for me to go up to my front gate so I could lock everybody out. And that was some pretty solid ground, so hats off to them, because they did such a fantastic job, and they ran the power out today, so I will be able to have a nice opening gate and some extra security for myself and the animals, which is lovely. So I just want to thank them for their amazing service. They're always timely, they're always efficient, their team always knows what to do, and they know how to be on a horse farm and not upset your horses, let your horses out, or any of those things. So really, really fortunate and blessed to know them. Best electricians, Pat Myers Electric. If you have anything on your farm you're concerned about, you want Pat to just come out and have a look, him or one of his team members will come out and do a complete walkthrough, and no obligation to buy anything, but you'll know if there are any concerns that you might have keeping your animals safe, because we don't want anything set on fire. And while we're talking about them, there's a hay giveaway. Oh, Isaac is, man, hats off to Isaac. What a guy. He knew where I was going. There is a wonderful opportunity at both locations of Larson Hay, and it's all about partnerships, right? So Pat Myers Electric partnered with Larson Hay, two amazing friends and partners to us, got together and came up with this amazing idea to do free hay, and who doesn't love free hay? So you could win $250 hay credit at either one of the two Ocala locations.
So that means each location is going to give away $250 worth of hay.
And you can drop in your name, and you can check the little box that says you'd like Pat Myers Electric to come out and have a look at your farm. And as I said, no obligation, but that also would be a visit by them to check everything out for you. But as long as you register, you could win, and we're going to draw the winner on April 2nd on the Horse Talk Show. So this is the hay and horsepower drawing.
Whoa.
It's pretty exciting. And who wouldn't like $250 hay credit? So thank you, Pat Myers, and thanks Larson Hay, who, by the way, recently changed their hours. He is just
He's on it. From 7 a.m. to 5:30, from Monday through Friday, and on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Sunday, they have a day off because they need it. But 7 o'clock's wonderful in the morning because you can get it before work. Adding that extra 30 minutes in the afternoon is fantastic. And then adding those extra 2 hours on Saturday in case you can't get there by noon when you're done training your horses and all that. They're now open until 2. So Larson Hay, we love that they're thinking about what their customers need. We got some other events we got to mention.
Run.
Ride.
Relay. Oh, darn it. Roll.
Relay. Team Power to support the Greenway Trails. We love this event. Absolutely fantastic. March 23rd. We know we love riding on those Greenway Trails, so you can get down there, and 3 of you, one gets to ride the horse, one gets to run.
And one gets to roll on the bicycle.
On the bicycle, and it's the first one's back. And you can do all 3 yourself if you want.
If you're crazy.
Very brave. Entry fee is $75 per person. Solo teams, yes, are crazy, but more information you can find Run, Ride, Roll, Relay online. And then don't forget that OHA, the same day, has their event, Open Hands Animal Rescue, a Greenway Trail Ride, Obstacle Play Day fundraiser to benefit Open Hands Animal Rescue. They do some absolutely amazing work. And that is at Anne Hanley's farm. You can look that up online. That is in Dunellen.
Dunellen.
Yes, and then favorite.
Equine First Aid, 12th of May, Midnight Equestrian Center, Citra, Florida, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's only $99. And my favorite tagline on this is because you are their first responder.
That's right. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Citra. You can learn about vital signs, bandaging, colic detection, and all those, because, as Pete said, you need to be ready for an emergency.
From professional to beginner and everybody in between.
Yes. Quick shout out for another sponsor, Palm Chevrolet. Had a wonderful time today, this afternoon with Angel. He is my angel. He does such a phenomenal job. I only buy my vehicles from him at Palm Chevrolet.
Did you have a hometown Chevy experience?
I did. And Isaac droned my experience, which I'm really excited because next week we will we'll show you the drone footage, and exciting. So thank you, Angel, Palm Chevrolet, beautiful Silverado. Very excited about that. Coming back after this with Dr. Adam Cayot. Stay with us. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors, DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference. Horsemen, are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? Lip Chip, built by horsemen for horsemen, is ready to revolutionize your world. The answer is in the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock your horse's health information. From driving to Grand Prix jumping, all horses, all breeds, and all disciplines. The future is in the integrity and transparency of all horse sports and in the safety of our horses. The future is here, and the future is Lip Chip. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now. Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in Downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the second segment of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
In just a couple of minutes, we're going to have Dr. Adam Cayot. He's going to be talking a little bit about taking care of older horses. Certainly more concerns as horses age. When people stop competing on horses, a lot of times some of the attention does come off their care, and often they get turned out and forgotten about. That was not the case with dear old Sonny, who made it to almost 35 years of age. I lost him just a couple of years ago and finally can talk about it without crying. But it did take a lot of extra care. And just recently we had an equine dental tech in the studio with us who was talking about how important it is to keep up on teeth. And Dr. Cayot and I have talked about how we can come up with some idea for equine dentures, because they do tend to lose their teeth. So that's one of the really important things that you've got to keep up on. But older horses do take a lot of extra care, and it's not time to switch off the supplements or the good feed or the good hay just because they're not being ridden as often, or maybe not ridden at all. So these are all things to be really mindful of. Dr. Cayot is going to share that with us coming up just a minute. Have you ever had an really old horse?
No, ma'am.
Never?
No, ma'am.
Never had a really...
I mean, I have two horses that are getting up in age, and
What is up in age?
They're 19 and 21.
Yeah, that is starting to... But some of the things you got to really watch is their weight, because it can go both ways as well. You can end up with a really, really overweight horse that ends up having all sorts of metabolic issues, and then you can also end up with that really skinny horse. So there's a balance there and then, of course, if they have an arthritis issue and concern, you don't want them too heavy, because then that's more pressure. So there's lots of things to think about. Dr. Cayot's going to share that with us now. Here he is. Louisa Barton here with Dr. Adam Cayot from Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. And we are going to talk about...
In a minute.
She's showing you her teeth. We're going to talk about taking care of your older horses. Dr. Cayot.
So, older horses, there's not a whole lot different than your younger horses. Obviously, exercise, keep them exercising as much as possible. Yearly checkup is good. Make sure their teeth are in good condition. Vaccines and all that stuff. But the thing that I typically come across in older horses is they tend to become much less efficient at converting calories to body mass. So what you feed them becomes very important. And luckily, the feed companies out there have recognized this for quite some time, and they've developed feeds that are much more easily digested. So the calories are much more easily accessed for the older horse, and they're typically your senior feeds, And so that's the main thing. When you notice your horse starting to lose weight, and that's typically what happens, then you need to start thinking about this change or modifying your feeding program for that particular horse. A lot of times they just don't lose weight just like that. It's a kind of a gradual decline, so it might take you a little while, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, he looks a little ribbier than what I noticed or whatever. And that's very typical, but it's not too late. And at that point, it's not a bad idea to call your veterinarian to have them check the horse out and make sure everything's good as far as that goes. But most of the time, it's just a simple fact of their inability to convert that calorie to body mass. So I typically then will suggest try a senior feed, try feeding them more often, have calories in front of them more times during the day, feed them a lunch and those sorts of things. And a lot of times, probably over 90% of the time, that helps. And so once you do that, then you have a routine and a maintenance program at that point, and then you can kind of judge by how they're doing, from day to day.
Yeah, and don't turn them out and forget about them. I see that a lot with older horses, where people kind of they don't realize the time flies by, and all of a sudden the horse isn't eating very well because it hasn't had its teeth done or something like that. So just monitoring them closely. You can keep them around for a while if you look after them.
I mean, as far as the teeth go too, because they'll lose teeth, right? So they don't have as many teeth in their head to be able to grind that feed to get to the nutrient part of the grain, and that's another big part of it. Or you'll notice them starting to quid the hay, where they ball it up and spit it out, and a lot of that's just because they're outliving the life of their teeth anymore, because our health care for the horses is so much better that they're literally outliving their tooth life. So in order to do that, we don't have any dentures yet for horses.
I know, we've talked about that before.
So
inventing those.
So you need to consider that. And I've had people where they'll start putting the grain in a blender and grinding it up and giving them slurries and those sorts of things and wetting the hay down and that sort of thing. So
helping them out. Yeah.
Those are all things that will help and give you a longer, happier life for the horse.
Absolutely. And a quick shout out with Seminole Feed, they have a wonderful chopped forage in a bag that's actually all chopped up already with some grains in it. It's great for horses that have metabolic issues, and it comes in a bag and it's chopped really tiny, the hay is, which is so good for older horses when they have less
That's
teeth.
Another point, because a lot of those older horses do have the metabolic issues, whether it's Cushing's or insulin resistance or that sort of thing. So those are all things to consider. And obviously, arthritis and their legs start bothering them and everything else. So just be aware of that when they're moving kind of slow through the paddock.
Yep, absolutely. Wonderful. Dr. Adam Cayot with Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. This portion of the Horse Talk Show is brought to you by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, our television broadcast sponsor, Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and supporting sponsors DAC Minerals and Vitamins, Seminole Feed Stores, Lip Chip, Piranha, Pat Myers Electric, Florida HVAC Services, and Ocala Dog Ranch.
Faulty wiring is the leading cause of barn fires. I'm Pat with Pat Myers Electric. Equine facilities have special electrical needs. The knowledgeable and licensed team of electricians at Pat Myers Electric will ensure that you can achieve your vision for a beautiful, safe, and functional horse facility. From new construction to rewiring and updating, the Pat Myers Electric team is ready to jump in and help keep your horses safe. With a small farm of our own, we truly understand the unique concerns of the horse owner. Don't take chances. For all your current barn needs, go to patmyerselectric.com.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care seeks to be a leading international veterinary practice that provides state-of-the-art veterinary care to their patients while fostering professional relationships with their clients that stand the test of time. For 24/7 and the best in equine care, check out Peterson and Smith at petersonsmith.com or like them on Facebook now for more information. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hey, this is Buck Branneman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with my co-host from Complimentary Horsemanship, Dancing Pete Roda. And I've got a cowboy hat the other side of me too, because our friend Brad Bolen is back for a visit. Brad from Lip Chip.
How are y'all today?
We're good. It's nice to have you back. I'm sorry it's been
almost
so
a
long.
year since I seen Pete, but you know, I think I saw you before that. So,
yeah, you have.
You
You've
know,
seen me in
yeah,
between. You've seen me in between, but yeah, Pete. Last time I think you saw Pete, he was incapacitated.
Laying down, hurting pretty bad. So.
Here we go again.
Yeah,
it was the splits.
He wasn't dancing Pete that night.
No, he wasn't. No,
I wasn't until a moment.
Yeah,
I think Betsy and I had to carry him out. It was good that Betsy was there. So, but that was good. I'm glad you're better, Pete. Don't do it again this year. Okay?
Saturday night, Pete. In 1 year. It's time.
You can't pay me enough money to do that again.
No splits. So, Brad, since I last saw you and since you were last on the show, a lot has happened with Lip Chip. But let's do a rundown for new listeners on what Lip Chip is and what it's all about.
Lip Chip is a horse technology company where we have microchips that we place in their upper lip of horse. We pretty much only handle thermal microchips. And then we have the software, hardware, and firmware to where we can keep up with the horse. It's similar to like what a Carfax is on a horse. That
is a good description, a Carfax on a horse.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Carfax, but they have all their traveling papers, their Coggins, if they have to have pyroplasmosis, they got that on there, their health certificates. We've started working with some of the big venues now. Since we place it in the lip, they can actually scan them in a horse trailer. And so we can do what we call a preload. So like say if we go to a rodeo or something like that, well, we can actually, or a horse show, we can actually have all the stuff preloaded, their shows, their classes they're gonna be in. If they want to order feed, if they want their stall assignments, it's all preloaded. So when they come up, they just scan the horse and it's all done, and they can have it all done before they ever get there. So it's working out really good. We've got, we finally got most of our microchips in now. We have a huge surplus of microchips, and all of our readers are finally finished. And we're finishing up with the pilot project right now. We got probably 60 days with the pilot project, and then we'll get all that data out, and we'll get ready to launch.
That's really exciting.
So,
gosh, I remember when this all started.
Oh, yeah. So why is the advantage to go to the lip? Can you explain that?
Well, I mean, you know, you get a lot of arguments from the older veterinarians, but here's the deal. The worst thing you can have with a microchip is mass and water. Where do you get the most mass and the most water? In the neck. So we've actually we've been around some of the guys that have done the studies with the microchips. You don't have any mass and you don't have any water in the lip, and the lip as everybody knows with a horse, the head heals the fastest. So when you put it in there, it'll heal in just a couple of days. And so, yeah, we have less than 1% migration. When the Jockey Club started in 17, allowing the microchips to come in, they just let anybody put them in. And they did, a YouTube video, and they just send you the microchip, and everybody put them in. So they have a lot of migration. It's not that much migration when they have the veterinarians do it, but most of the owners didn't let the veterinarians do it. Most of the owners did it themselves. So they have a huge problem with migration. Of course, that's a problem when they get to the paddock and then they can't find it, and then, you basically,
can't find it, you can't race.
Well, Louisa's been there to big races, and if you can't find it, you can't race. So
that's right.
Now this year, this is the first year starting in January. This year we're doing the mandate for the American Quarter Horse Association, where Ellipchip's the preferred provider for the AQHA and Microchip Technology Company, and so all the 2-year-olds, all the horses that turn 2 on January 1st, it's a mandated that if they race that they all have to have microchips. So we're in the middle of that rollout right now. AQHA identifiers are going across the country, identifying these horses. They're using our readers, and they use their application. And then the racetracks are actually, we have some of the racetracks that are coming up that are going to actually use our app. We're really excited because the AQHA did not build an app to work in the paddock. So we're really excited because the racetracks have come to us and asked us, hey, will you build us an app for the paddock? And with our technology, our Bluetooth technology, we have things that nobody else has. They're really excited, but we have a test-born application to where you can scan that horse, go in, and we have some other stuff, other companies we did licensing agreements with, and we actually have some really cool technology where you can do an EKG in 1 minute, and then you can push it over to our stuff and record it all. We have it to where our Bluetooth, you can connect to more than one tablet. All the old readers that we used to have before, they connect to one tablet and 8 foot on the connection for the Bluetooth. Ours is about 425 yards, and we can have 20 tablets. So it was really cool when we started testing. And say we're at the racetrack. When we actually tested, and Louisa and them came up the next day at Churchill, so we could be all the way across the racetrack and shoot. We could scan a horse and shoot it up to the tower, 420 yards away, and they'd all hit at the same time for the clockers. So they just push the buttons and clock them, and they could work those horses. If it's a thoroughbred, it drops down in furlongs. If it's a quarter horse, it drops down in yards, and then they store it. And then we have all the other stuff that we're working for on them. Last year, we actually helped do a lot of biosecurity for some of the bigger quarter horse races. So that was kind of cool, getting to see the veterinarians and the doctors, the temperature before the big races with those horses, and all the different kinds of stuff that they wanted to do. So they're doing a big study right now, and so we've been a big part of that. But all the horsemen have been good to us. We've got some of the biggest rodeo horses in the world done right now, and absolutely some of the biggest quarter horse racing horses done. Got a lot of the, some of the other disciplines too. We were actually in Utah the other day and did some ski journeying horses, and I didn't even know what ski journeying is. You know what that is?
No.
Yeah, it's
learn something new every day.
You should look it up. It's crazy that out there in the middle of the snow in Utah, and there's a guy or a girl, and they're just whooping and driving on him. He's got a little spikes on his feet, and they got a hippie. They got a hippie behind him, and he's on a ski board, and they're doing flips in the air, and that horse is pulling. But it's a really cool sport.
Actually, I never heard of it.
Some of our friends that are on the Cowboy Channel. Actually, they got the Cowboy Channel to cover it this year, and it's wild.
I want to go.
Crazy. Yeah.
I know people in Utah. Yeah. I might have to go visit.
Yeah, we'll have to go. We'll have to go.
Betsy's giving me the old, let's go. It sounds like fun to me.
Maybe they'll let you ski, Louisa, and then Betsy can ride the horse.
I'm in. I'll try it.
That'd be scary.
Yeah, I know. It'd be funny. It would be the best thing ever. That's amazing. So tell us about thermal. So thermal chips in the lip, easy to scan. Lovely video I was just watching you had on Facebook of 3 generations. You, your daughter, and granddaughter, and all of you had the scanners, and it's so very. There she is. So very, very easy that anybody can do it. Simple, scan the nose and you can get the temperature as well. If you have a sick horse and you're worried about it spreading, some disease around a barn?
Actually, we've been doing a lot of work with some of the big associations, and we actually did a video for them on God forbid that we have herpes outbreaks. But
yes.
If they have a herpes outbreak, with our placement in the lip and with our readers, we can actually put a sleeve on our readers and we'll have 0 touch points. So we went through, and I don't remember the numbers, but I kind of remember. But if you got one in the nuchal ligament and you got to go in and do a check on him, it's like about 15 touch points.
Yep.
If you got a rectal thermometer, you got about 19. With ours, we have either 3 touch points or 0 touch points.
That's amazing. Stop spreading terrible disease around the barns. That whinny means we have to take a break. But Brad is going to stay with us the rest of the show. Lip Chip, Google them, check them out, get the information. This is absolutely life-changing for horse owners and really big, significant, and worth checking out. So Brad, thank you for being with us. He's going to stay with us for the rest of the show. We'll be right back with Heather and Jeremy. Larson Farms is our TV broadcast sponsor. Mr. Richard Larson, a man of great integrity, cares about every single bale of hay and about taking care of his customers. He also has a huge heart for those genuinely in need. Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Hey there, horsemen. Are you tired of technology that doesn't fit your way of life? Lip Chip is ready to revolutionize your barn. Built by horsemen, for horsemen. Lip Chip knows how you ride. If you're tired of carrying around paperwork, dealing with long trailer lines, and juggling all your horse's details while trying to compete, then the answer is the HoofLink system. Simply implant, scan, and unlock. Each scan reveals everything you need to work, compete, and to protect your horses. View current health paperwork, pre-register for your next event, and even check in on your horse's health. Horsemen, let's keep our horses safe and make our lives at the barn a little easier. The future is here, and the future is Lip Chip. This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show. Have you ever heard of a horse that could talk? Listen to this. With your host, Louisa Barton. She's literally in love with every horse. Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. She's back in the saddle again. And now, here's your host,
Pretty.
Louisa Barton! She's a Brit, she's got the gift of the gab, and her guests are fab.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. We're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Brought to you by the Equine Initiative, presented by Piranha, the Horse Talk Show, and Larson Hay.
Hey, this is Buck Brannaman. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Louisa Barton here for the Horse Talk Show and the CEP's Equine Initiative, and we are chatting to some local superstars here in our area, just outside the horse capital in Dunellen, at the farm of Heather and Jeremy Reynolds. Thank you guys for having us here.
Thanks
for
for
having a
coming.
good time cuddling
Yeah.
with your horses. How fantastic it is to have such top competition horses that are so friendly and affectionate. That speaks volumes about you guys. You know, there's a lot of show worlds that you go into where the horses are a little impersonal because of the training routine and the number of different people that ride them and work with them and all that sort of thing. But to be around your horses is fantastic. They're so in your pocket and friendly. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the amount of hours that we have to spend with them, they really either love you or really don't. and the ones that really don't love you typically don't want to work that many hours with you anyway, so they're probably not going to excel in this sport. And it's a firm belief of ours that if their ground manners are no good, the riding's not any better.
Yeah, and we kind of set it up here. Both our farms are California and here, but we everyone comes in for feed, but then they're in a pasture setting, so everyone's in herd set up.
Comfortable.
So they seem
with free
really
choice
calm
hay.
And then when they're tacked up and everything's tight. And we tack up, everything's tight, and all the horses know that they should be behaved.
Yeah, like typically in this area where we're sitting, we could fit 1, 2, 3, 4 horses for saddling right here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they all just are like, yes.
Yeah. They do
because
their job.
We'll go overseas and there'll be a lot of energy in horses and there's tight quarters, and that could just be the end of your ride if you have a horse that misbehaves in that kind of setting. So
you're right. So they're getting used to whatever they have to kind of
and the
deal with.
commotion, the busyness of the barn.
Yeah.
If we have a new client horse in that's really fractious, we'll actually tie it here right behind where the camera is. And we'll go past them with all the buckets and the cleaning supplies and everything, and they
All
just
going on.
and all the horse get loaded the walker and everything. All the traffic is going by that horse. We're not careful around them.
Yeah.
No.
Like you just need to deal and
You
learn.
just
And
got to learn.
sometimes it takes 6 weeks for a horse. Like, oh,
Okay, this is fine.
I could stand here and fall asleep actually with all this chaos going on.
Yes. Yeah, get them used to whatever they might face when they travel, because
Exactly.
if you have the type of horse that you've catered to every little whim and need and quirk, when you get into a different environment, they're not going to do well at all. They're going to blow up. pretty much.
Well, and then imagine having a very high energy, super, super fit sound horse in its prime, put it on an airplane, put it in quarantine, exercise it for maybe 6 days, and then put it on the starting line with 200 horses. It's not going to go well unless the horse can handle chaos.
Yeah, and you've got a natural setting for the horses where they're in a herd, and then even watching like Treasure come in. I mean, Treasure knew exactly at feeding time how to go to the vibration plate and eat, and came straight in, right past, boom, through the broom, behind her.
Right,
No big deal.
all the stuff.
And the broom fell right behind her, and she was like, "Oh no, I'm going straight. I know where I go. I know what my spot is and where I belong." But they have this comfort level of the herd, which you can see. And then, like you said, having this area where they're all tied up together, and they've got to get used to everything going on, and that's good. That's really good.
And we try to make our rules super consistent. So the rules at home for the horse are the same as the rules at the event, the rules on the road. Everywhere we go, the rules are the same. Like a small example would be if your horse rubs on you, okay, that's not allowed anywhere. So we don't allow them to rub here and then not at the event, because what happens is in our sport, you have to hold the horse for the veterinarian to check it, and if the horse used to rubbing
on the veterinarian might go down.
Oh gosh, or they rub on the veterinarian secretary and the clipboard goes flying. It's just not a good look. So if you let them rub here at home, but then you're correcting them at the event, it gets super confusing. So you just keep the rules
professional level.
Keep the rules professional level every step of the way, so that they just know, and then they're never disappointed in you. Like, you let me rub on you at home, but why not now? I've worked so hard for you now. It's like, well, it's just never allowed.
Yeah,
but we'll rub and itch their head.
Yeah, we're allowed to itch them. They cannot itch on us.
Yes.
And they can itch on their own leg. So you'll see our horses come into a checkpoint, and when we unbridle them, they commonly will go down and rub on their own leg. That's totally allowed.
Right.
That's fine.
And it's okay, you scratch on them, but it's not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good discipline.
And they understand that rule. Like, that's the rule.
They're like kids.
Yep.
They need consistency and rules.
Yeah,
right?
and they love a schedule. Like, they love it. And as weird as it sounds, you wouldn't think they'd want to go on the Eurosizer.
I love this Eurosizer, by the way. I love the fact they're not tied.
They're
able
lining
to,
up. They're lining up. We had a foal once that wasn't on there because we just thought, we're going to let you just get used to the place. And at the time, we didn't have fencing, so he could go all the way around the wheel, and he would spend the time walking outside the wheel with the adult horses. So they just love it. We call it
They love
the social wheel.
It's the social wheel.
Yeah.
They're on the social wheel
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
They do. You can see they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
They're into it.
Which seems weird. And we've even had it to where if horses, like the ones that aren't on the wheel right now, just raced, so they're on vacation. But sometimes those, as I'm offloading these, they'll load themselves on. It's like, are you kidding? And then we just let them walk around a couple times.
Because they want to.
Yeah, it's so goofy.
I know, they want to. They like it. It's follow the leader.
Yep.
And you can see they're animated. I mean, none of them are stopping like, oh, we don't want to go.
Yeah.
They're moving, and they are free to try to stop,
Yeah.
and they don't.
Yeah.
So they're obviously in their routine, you know. Now, how many times will they go around there? How many miles?
Millions and
They'll
millions.
do about, it's funny, I don't know what, 13 comes up a lot, but it comes up, we end up doing the math, it's around 13 miles.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. So they get really fit
Super
there
clean.
in a nice,
Just
natural
walking,
way.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
walking. Yeah, how wonderful.
And we never use it above a walk. The only time I've ever used it above a walk is if we've castrated something and needs to jog a few minutes.
Yes.
But typically speaking, we never use it above a walk.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good. That's an amazing way to exercise them.
Yeah, we use it as an active recovery as opposed to actual exercise.
Oh,
Yeah.
active recovery.
Yeah.
Ah.
And kind of, we go back and like horses are supposed to be moving, close to 10, 12 miles a day.
A wild horse.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're trying to just bring them back to like a baseline of what normal is, and then move the gait along at a walk. It also helps their cantering muscles at a big walk. So they're doing a little over 4 miles an hour.
Yeah, we've set the speed to that with our GPS.
That's really incredible.
Oh, yeah.
So now these horses, would they have been ridden in the morning?
Yeah, well, we usually start in the morning,
Right.
and then if they're still on at the end of the day, we have two groups going, so it just depends.
Yeah, typically everyone comes in to eat, and then they're either turned out if they've just raced, or they're put on the walker, or they're saddled.
Oh.
And they'll
You've
usually...
got to have a system with 20 or 30
Oh, yeah.
horses, right?
So I
mean, you
can
have to-
feed the whole herd in about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's done, and they're on the walker. Well, it's probably an hour now because the warm bloods sometimes they get really big portions.
Yeah.
So probably an hour, and then they go on the walker, and sometimes we'll have them in a surf single on the walker. You know, the horse that need to learn how to carry themselves a little better.
Yeah.
And then typically, if they're on here, if it's a riding day, if they're a senior horse, they'll be later in the order. So a young horse would skip the wheel. It wouldn't wheel and be ridden.
And be ridden.
Yeah. So the young horse would be settled first. We'd go out, and the senior horse would warm up for maybe the first 45 minutes while we're riding the young horses.
Yeah.
And then they'll go out. And if we're doing a really long ride, they wouldn't go on the wheel at all. Like today, we took two out on a 13-mile canter. They didn't walk.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys have to be super fit too.
Yeah, we try to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because people go, what do you do to keep fit? It's like, well...
We're at the farm.
Yeah, it's like this isn't a typical workload for most riders because you just don't have access to as many horses to ride over and over, and people have normal jobs, so we're spoiled in that regard that we don't have to do much other.
No.
Except for...
This keeps you fit.
Yeah, at Tevis time we do run.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally, and then sometimes I get excited about maybe I'll go enter a running race, and I'll start getting fit.
Jeremy's done ultra 100-mile runs without the horse. 100 miles at a go with no horse, just running shoes and Jeremy.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's done.
Well, you do get off the
Tevis.
horse during the Tevis and run, so I guess
do,
it's
yeah.
important that you do have that.
Yeah.
Because activity, yes, keeps you fit, especially riding, but running is different on the ground, obviously. So probably up to the Tevis, you do, right? You want to get fit.
Yeah.
We're going to talk more about the Tevis in another segment, but we're going to wrap this one up. Louisa Barton here with the Horse Talk Show. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The team of professionals at Equifence of Florida specialize in equestrian fencing, offering great communication, quality fencing, and all done in a timely manner. Reliable service with horse safety in mind all the time. Also offering customized residential, vinyl, wood, aluminium, and chain link fences services. Equifence of Florida, quality fencing done right to keep your animals safe. For more information, find Equifence of Florida on Facebook now.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at seminolefeed.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Does your farm need a facelift? Has the harsh Florida climate left your barns, stable doors, and fences stained? J&S Pressure Washing has a professional team who can exceed your expectations and restore your farm to its former glory. Get rid of dust and cobwebs that can cause allergies and health issues for horses, and keep your horses safe by limiting fire hazards in the barn. J&S Pressure Washing can clean your house, your barns, your fences, and your driveway, and you can count on dependable and professional services. For more information, call Stephen at 352-502-5355.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
This is Charlotte Cannon, and you are listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience, thanks to Larson Farms, our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
I did mention that I had a Palm Chevrolet experience today, didn't I?
Yes, you
yes,
did.
I did. Dancing Pete Roeder here from Complimentary Horsemanship and Brad Bolen from Lip Chip. Some of the most amazing technology changing the horse world, one horse at a time, globally, hopefully. In the very near future. Huge success in the last couple of years that we've seen happen. Speaking of success, that's our favorite word when we do a ribbon cutting. Some horses visited us downtown last Thursday. It was absolutely wonderful to see something come to fruition we've been working on since before COVID. That team right there is from Bessie Lou, and that is Vivaldi de Bessie Lou, who is probably one of the most famous world champion Pasafinos in the world, who was honored with a plaque downtown in Ocala, the horse capital of the world, along with a number of other horses. We're very excited that this ribbon cutting happened. Direct descendant of Kushtibok visited us. Kushtibok was the very first Gypsy Vanna horse to come to America with 15 others brought by Dennis Thompson and his then late wife Cindy. And they actually got the breed named Gypsy Vanna and started the actual registry of the Gypsy Vanna breed in the USA, which is really, really exciting. Up until then, they were just known as a Vanna horse or a Gypsy horse, and they were not known or recognized breed. Vivaldi de Bessie Lou came and visited his plaque, and we had a ceremony for these 2x3 solid bronze plaques, which were installed just a few weeks ago in the downtown sidewalks in Ocala. We think it's very exciting to bring the town and the farms together like this. And it was a wonderful ribbon cutting. That's actually Dennis and Erin from Gypsy Gold, which is the #1 thing to do on TripAdvisor in this area, standing by Kushtibok's plaque. What's really neat is there's an app that goes along with all these plaques, so you can actually read the entire story. When you step across, the plaque will pop, the app will pop up. You can download it, and then you can actually go and click on each horse and read the entire story. Kevin Sheely from the CEP, he's actually the CEO of the chamber here. We're the only chamber in the world that we know of that has an equine initiative. And he got up in front of the crowd to basically thank all the partners that were involved in making these plaques actually come to fruition. And it's exciting because Mark's restaurant, Mark's Prime House downtown, actually has 12 thoroughbreds. And those 12 thoroughbreds are Florida bred Hall of Fame thoroughbreds.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Needles, of course, started the whole thing in 1956 and put us on the map. And Magic is still putting us on the map, right?
That's right.
Magic, the only top 10 living one of the most heroic animals in the history of the world. And this is actually Mr. Leone, who owns Bessie Lou Farm, and he was on his Champion Pasofino downtown as we admired the sidewalks. So the marks, if you're visiting Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital, you can walk downtown by Marks and you'll see the thoroughbreds. If you walk down by the Hilton Garden Inn, hold that picture right there for me, Isaac, because I'm going to say who that is. It's pretty cool. So if you're not watching on Equus TV Network, you need to find Equus TV Network so you can see all these wonderful photos and videos. If you're listening on the radio, go like us on Facebook or watch us on the telly, as we say in England. But the multi-breed sidewalk is actually by the Hilton Garden Inn, and that is a multitude of different breeds. But this group of people, if you're watching us, pretty cool, because this is the grandson of the owner of Foolish Pleasure. This is the jockey, Jacinto Vasquez, Hall of Fame Jacinto Vasquez, who actually rode Foolish Pleasure. And to the left of me is the grandson of the groom of Foolish Pleasure. And they all, well, Jacinto lives here, but the other two were not kind enough to fly in on the grandson's private plane into Ocala and be picked up by my friends Trish and Ben so that they could come and visit the plaque of Foolish Pleasure. And Jacinto Vasquez is actually the only jockey to ever beat the one and only Secretariat, and he beat Secretariat twice. So he's a little bit of a famous name, and the fact that he rode Foolish Pleasure and was able to come and see the plaque was a really, really neat experience. But I think overall it was pretty it
was fun. It was a big turnout, and you got to see the horses and people riding, and I think it was really a good thing for the people that aren't horse people, as well as there was a lot of people that were owners, trainers, and riders there.
Yes, and Magic certainly is a hero. Some of these photos, I'm just going to tell you, are not mine. They are Debbie's from Gentle Carousel Miniature Therapy Horses. You can tell she takes much better photos than me. And Magic is with Gentle Carousel. She visits schools and she visits sick and dying folks, and her little team of horses visit rehabs and do literacy programs, reading and horse programs in the summer and at the schools and the libraries, and really an amazing team of little horses that do incredible work. But Magic is there with our now Mayor of Ocala, Ben Marciano, who's replaced Kent Gwynn, who was with us as our mayor for so long, and got to have a photo there with Magic. So
and don't forget George.
Don't forget George. Yeah, he
man
always
in black.
Yes, the man in black, always fading into the background because it's not about him. I love George. George and Debbie are wonderful, but how nice to have Magic down there.
The stories for Vicente. I was on the show the second time, and he was on there with us, and then he's been with us downtown when we did the, what is the one called where we have all the. Is it the initiative? Is that
yes,
the one
the
we have?
equine initiative. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's so cool to sit down with and talk to.
Isn't he? He can tell some fantastic
Pull that
stories.
one back up, Isaac. There you go.
That is Dancing Pete Rhoda with Magic, celebrating her plaque and waiting for her to come visit him.
I thought it was a year ago today. You know?
When he fell over at Live Oak International. No, fortunately, that was by choice.
They had his picture up at the gate this year. You
got to let the magic come to you. You can't go to the magic.
That's right. That's right. So it was overall a wonderful celebration. Thank you to all partners involved. From the CEP, who got this rolling with the city of Ocala way back before the pandemic. And of course, everything came to a crashing halt. And then a trip to Lexington that the CEP took about 45 people, a group. And we got to see how Lexington does it and realized that we don't do it as well as they do. And they may be the thoroughbred capital, but we do own the horse capital title here. So it is officially ours, legally and officially, thanks to the FTBOA. So when our Visitors Bureau and our county commissioners from this area saw how Lexington celebrates horses, they said, we need to do something. And I said, well, I have something underway. Can you help? And so after the pandemic was sort of coming to a close, we managed to be in that budget and get approved by the county commission because they could see the importance of celebrating what makes us a $4.3 billion economic impact for the equine world in our county alone. 4.3 billion with a B. So it matters. And
that's a lot, isn't it?
That's a lot, yeah. That's probably more than we'll make in a lifetime of, well, maybe not you.
Maybe not. Not big time over here.
We haven't made any money yet. There you go.
But really, really exciting and a legacy as well for us to leave behind for future generations so it doesn't get missed.
Wow,
and Isaac very, very beautifully droned this incredible experience. And it is an experience because you can now walk down it and learn these stories and learn how it all began and learn how we're home to 70 plus breeds of horses and see all of this. And one day, every one of those placeholders will have a plaque in it. And every single one on the Mark sidewalk will be a thoroughbred, and every single one on the Hilton will be a multi-breed. And right now there's a Morgan, there's a Welsh pony, there's a Pasifino, there's a miniature, there's a Percheron. It's just amazing, and we just want to keep driving this forward.
Where's your quarter horse?
Rugged Lark.
Oh, Rugged Lark.
We got one.
We couldn't miss out on that one.
You need several quarter horses to get all the divisions in.
I agree. We're going to add more. We'll be back. That's Rugged Lark. We'll be back on the Horse Talk Show.
Pretty good on there right now.
He is. Just a few minutes. Stay with us. Thank you to the presenting sponsor of this portion of the Horse Talk Show, Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to our TV broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms, Idaho's finest alfalfa. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Nirvana Medical Spa, TT Distributors, Summit Joint Performance, Equigreen, Midnight Rose Equestrian, the Florida Horse Park, Horse Farms Forever, and the Equine Performance and Innovative Center. The Equine Performance and Innovative Center, situated on 30 pristine acres in the horse capital of the world, is one of the finest and most complete conditioning and rehab centers for equines and canines in the nation, including an equine hyperbaric chamber, aqua pacer, water treadmill, cold water leg spa, equine swimming pool, Eurosizer, and more. Epic equine veterinarians specializing in rehab and conditioning. For more information, go to epcrehab.com or find them on social media.
This show was brought to you in part by TT Distributors, dedicated to bringing their customers the largest selection of quality horse supplements, products, and farrier supplies in Florida at affordable prices. Also online at ttdistributors.com.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
Back on the final segment of the Horse Talk Show for this week, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms. They are our television broadcast sponsor.
Idaho's finest alfalfa.
Louisa Barton here in the studio with Dancing Pete Roeder from Complimentary Horsemanship, and very special guest and friend visiting us finally,
the
Brad
one,
Bolen
the only.
from Lip Chip. Yes. I'm glad he's not lip chipping me today, although perhaps I need it. But before I forget, I'm going to pass you your Piranha goodie bag over here, full of goodies for you.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. And then your brush, which has to travel around the world with you with the horsetalkshownetwork.com on it. And then everywhere you go, you have to take pictures of the brush traveling.
Okay.
And this was actually purchased at TT Distributors and lasered at Loco Graphics, so you can get those done yourself with your own. Before we jump on to the next thing, we got to do complimentary horsemanship. Tip of the week.
Dancin Pete's Tip of the Week, brought to you by Complimentary Horsemanship. This tip is sponsored by WildlifeWorksLLC.com for your unwanted wild critters removal.
There went the raccoon. That's your kickoff.
Fell off, so that's my cue to start. Okay, so today's tip of the week actually came from one of my students on my last lesson today. We were doing saddling, and this horse has had major issues with saddling, pinning its ears, trying to bite you, all this kind of stuff, and we've been prepping this horse. Today, the owner really slowed down, and the horse came around, and as she was leaving, she goes, "I got your tip of the week," and I said, "Okay, what is it?" She said, "Double the patience, triples the rewards." And I was like, wow, that's really good. So that may turn into a chapter in my book one day. But what she's saying is she doubled her patience, meaning she wasn't a very patient person, but she became patient with me. And then today she doubled it. And then all of a sudden the horse just dropped its head while she was taking up the cinch, and everything was fine. So it was really cool.
And patience actually brings me to a great topic, because last week, one of the horses that was actually here for the ribbon cutting, she was a little bit stressed out after the whole busyness downtown, and she wasn't sure if she wanted to get back in the trailer or not. And Dancing Pete was right there and showed so much patience with this horse that she willingly actually stepped in finally and went home. So well done.
And the best part of it was, we had been doing it for about 40 minutes, and Dennis asked me, he said, "Well, you sure this is going to happen?" And I said, "Yes, sir. I'm sure it's going to happen." And as soon as I got that out of my mouth, she got into the trailer.
She got in the trailer.
So double the patience,
now
triple the rewards.
You have a little book.
Oh, yes.
You have a little book that was actually given to you that day by
Thanks,
Neil at Ocala Dog Ranch. And so he's
British,
finally learning the English language.
British to English.
He is.
This should be retitled "How to Speak Louisa."
That's right. And speaking of Neil, Horse Talk Show needs to go to the dogs and be happy. The Horse Talk Show goes to the dogs at Ocala Dog Ranch.
I'm Neil Hennessy, the owner of Ocala Dog Ranch. Play with your dog. Your dogs love you. They want to play with you. Go play ball, play tug, go for a run, take your dog for a run beside your bicycle, find a pool, go swimming, join an obedience class, do some formal training like either agility or fly ball or barn hunt. Have fun with your dog. They want to be with you, and you wanted them to be with you. So have fun with your dog.
Neil, keeping those dogs happy with lots of fun things to do with your dog. Remember to have fun with your dog. And in the book, German Shepherd translated into English, Alsatian.
Yeah.
Dancing Pete had never heard of that. Neil had lines of people waiting to try the barn hunt. Very, very excited. There's Neil. He visited us downtown for the plaques ribbon cutting, so it was lovely to have him there. And he had lines of people to try the barn hunt lining up at Ocala Dog Ranch. So whether you want to try the pool and you want to try the dock diving or the barn hunt, those things are all great fun, as well as boarding, of course, and Airbnb right there at Ocala Dog Ranch. Coming up with Live Oak International, of course, right across the street from there. So Neil's got his sign up that says, good luck to all the competitors at Live Oak International this weekend, especially if they try and do the splits, right?
That's true. But his picture's up at the gate, so he's not getting in.
I'm never going to hear that.
That's right, he's not getting in. A very quick Hacks to Relax by Charlotte Cannon. We're on number 7. And Pete is going to sing.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
Okay, we're good. So number 7 is singing.
No, that's not a way to get a guy to come back to Florida and stay very much.
No, I know, right? So singing, humming, sing-song voice, songs key of C, if you know what C is.
I
don't know.
I didn't know I had to get my keys from my truck to sing.
These are Charlotte Cannon's, the Cannon method: relax, release, rewire, and win. And singing is very therapeutic, if you can sing.
If you can sing.
If you can't sing, humming works. Sing song.
I actually have a lady that has thoroughbreds for the racetrack, and she told the jockey, if you sing to her, she'll do great. And he started singing to her and won the race. So it worked.
I've actually heard before, if you play therapeutic music in your barn, your horses actually relax more and enjoy that more. So it definitely works for people and for horses for sure. So ways to relax, release, rewire, and win. Brad, we are wrapping up the end of the show, which absolutely flew by, but it was lovely to have you here.
Thanks, Louisa.
And
we need to come more often.
Yeah.
We try. We're busy, but we're trying.
You're a sponsor of Live Oak International this weekend, so
We
people
are.
can come
We
out
are.
and see you out there. Wonderful local
we are.
event.
We're, you know, Chester and Chloe have been really good to us, and Ainsley, and we're excited. It's a whole different deal for us, you know what I'm saying? We're used to the cowboy horses and the race horses, so this is a whole different deal.
Well, it's the only competition of its kind in the world. We're bringing together Grand Prix riders and drivers for driving competitions and top show jumping, so it really brings top equestrians here. It certainly has a major economic impact on this area, but it's just a phenomenal event. I think
And if you're listening-
17,500 people went last
Wow.
year.
If you're listening on the Sky on Saturday morning, do not miss Live Oak International. It is fun for the whole family, no matter if you're a horse person or not. You get to watch things that you don't really get to see at shows.
Yeah, it's
So,
true. It's true.
The
And it's,
combined driving is a blast.
it is. Watching those drivers go around those obstacles. Before I could drive, I didn't know how fun it was. But now that I've had a few driving lessons, I absolutely would love to do it. But it's very exciting
We're gonna have to
watching
keep
that
you away
marathon.
from Chester's team, huh?
I know, right? I might jump on and take off. But then the jumping also is phenomenal to watch over the weekend. Sunday, the big Grand Prix has got some of the top Olympic riders from around the world.
And the lip chip.
And the
jump
lip chip.
is the last jump for the $1 million. Or it was last year. I think it is this year, too.
Wow.
The lip chip jump. That's right. I took loads of photos
Yeah,
and
the lip
videos of
chip
it,
jump.
didn't I? The lip chip
Somebody
jump.
told me, said, what do you were one of the most exciting things that you've done since you've, you know, kind of invented this deal and did all this stuff. And I said, you know, young kid, 1,400 people town. We have our own jump in Ocala, Florida. And they're like, what's a jump, you know? So that's kind of cool.
It's an important part of the Grand Prix for
It's
sure.
very important,
so.
yeah. It's the biggest one there, too. So
Wow.
it's the tallest one.
Well, it would be.
Yeah.
That
Well,
fits,
it's got lip
doesn't
chip
it?
on it.
That's right.
It doubles in size.
Yeah, we had it made in Texas and shipped down here.
Oh, no.
That was good.
Yeah.
Well done. Well, thank you for supporting local events here, because you do, and that is a huge shout out to you, and thank you for that, because we need that, and these events are important. We're at the end of the show.
It flew by.
Yes, it did. That's because Brad's here. Time flies when you're having fun. Whether you're in Ocala, Marion County, the horse capital of the world or not, happy horsing around. Till the same time next week.
See ya.